Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Rosie here, and I play Dead by Daylight, so you don't have to. It's the Identity 5 high, ladies and gentlemen. We also play Identity 5. Yup, it's another Identity 5 high happening in the server right now. See, what happens is, here's what happens. It's a cycle with me, dude. I play Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight is terrible. And then I want Dead by Daylight to be better. I try to fix Dead by Daylight. The devs and community are fucking retarded. I play Identity 5. Devs and community are not fucking retarded. Game is better. Comp scene is healthy. Watching comp scene is fun. Watching the game is fun. Playing the game is fun. And I start talking about how fun and good the game is because the game is great. And then I want to leave Dead by Daylight and play this game. And then Dead by Daylight lures me back in with its abusive tricks. I can fix Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight's gonna get better this time. You know, it's all a lie. It's all a joke. But, you know, that's the cycle I go through. And so now we're on one of those Identity 5 highs. So, and one of the things I've noticed with Identity 5 as of late was, like, I think that there are some underrated characters right now. The top 5 survivors have, like, stayed stagnant for a very, very long time. Like, what is it? Merce, Mech, Forward, Seer. Those are, like, the top 4 survivors. Yeah. And like, I think that, like, you know, Merce, like, there's more bans now. Like Seer hardly ever has played in tournament because he's always banned. But, like, I think looking at the rest of the roster, there are some underrated characters, and this one in particular, I think, is the most underrated character in the game, at least here in the States, in like the EU server, because like in AEU, because I see all the pros, they put this character in like B-, C+, and I'm playing him, and I'm like, no, he's fucking not. He is not that fucking low, and I'm not trying to sit here and claim that, like, he's OP because of these games against these low... Because, like, again, like, what am I? Elk? Like, I'm not that high in Identity 5. I play with my girlfriend. But, mostly. And that's why I mostly play Survivor. Because I'm mostly just playing... But, like, when I'm looking at this... Like, I watch Call of the Abyss every single year. I watch the tournaments every single year. I keep up with the meta of this game. I think that this character, the Novelist, has a lot of high-level applications, and I'm predicting that he will do well in his Koa debut, whatever that is. I don't think he's had his Koa debut yet. I think if it's this year, I think he's gonna do very, very well, and there's, like, forums about, like, not to trust this character. If this character's in the match, don't let him use his power. And I'm sorry, I just don't see it. Now, I will say this. When there's a bad one, yes. And when there's a bad one, yes. And, like, this character does have some weaknesses. He doesn't like to get found first, etc., etc. But what I'm trying to say here is that, like, I think this character, when utilized correctly and utilized well, he can really clutch out some situations. And because it's, like, there's bad ones and stuff and you don't want to trust him, I think his highest level of application is in a Survive with Friends when you trust him. When you trust the guy who's controlling him. Now, you're probably wondering, what the hell, Rosie? Like, what the hell are you talking about? Here is the Novelist. Here's what he does. Is there a sound? Yeah, I'll turn it down a little bit, but... Okay, so here's the Novelist. Okay, so here's Sculptor, who is a good character, but, like, you know, this guy's not good playing her. But here's what the power is, okay? The Novelist... Oh, I can't tap on myself. I do the... The Novelist, what he does is when he and the killer make eye contact, he has a meter that goes up. And then once the meter hits 100 and the killer's close to him, he can take control of the killer. He can take control of the killer, yes. And the killer takes control of him. They swap roles for 5 seconds. You see the meter going up. The killer can't actually see that meter when you're playing against him, so they know when it's going up. When they have direct eye contact, but, like, when my screen and her screen, like, when we are both looking at each other, that meter fills. And then once it hits 100, I get my power. But he can't. There's the power right there. See, I'm moving him back. I'm moving him back. I'm moving him back. And I'm seeing that tile is, like, very successful. So I don't know if Sculptor's, like, bugged at that tile or something, but I've noticed we're having a lot of success. Now, she cannot use her power without me getting mine because of the way it works. Because she has to look at the area she's going to throw statues in. And since I'm there, like, she can't use her power without me gaining mine. So there, we already have it twice. It's very quick to build up. Now again, she should just be breaking this pallet, and especially since she has me zoned off correctly. Like this Sculptor player does not identify what correct zoning is, and that's very big on her. So, but it's like, Rosie, does this really happen in Chase? I mean, not this many times, but like I have games where like I'll go and I'll pull off 6 controls on Killer. Now I'm not saying that at high level Novelist can realistically get 6 controls at high level. In fact, I think his Chase is the weaker of his 2 powers, which we'll go into his other power next game. But like his this other power is not for like containment of the Killer. This is why he doesn't like to be found first, because it's not for like a 5 cipher kite. It's not for that. It's for baton passing, which we'll show that off next game, as well as the other power. We have 2 games here. This one was a really good use of the 1v1 power. Which again, this 1v1 power can be clutch in situations, which again we will go into that. And it's honestly not too bad of a kiting power. Its activation conditions is just pretty bad on purpose, because like the Killer has a lot of utility over it, and then there's like crouch counterplay, and it's bad in certain matchups. Like the 1v1 power is his 1v1 power probably is a B tier power, is what I'm saying. It's not. It's kind of gimmicky. It's not like horrendous, and once it works, and it beats other Killers hard that can move faster. Like if Naiad has her Triad thrown out, like it can be like super good against her. You know what I'm saying? So like his Chase power has its good and bad matchups, but the trust factor comes in with his other ability, and I don't use it. And I don't know if it's considered rude in pub matches to use his ability. His other ability is, you can probably kind of guess it. You can kind of see the harassment going on here, which kind of leads to what the true nature of his power actually is. But like, his other power, you can kind of infer what it is. If you take control of the Killer, his other power is that you can take control of other survivors. And the way you do that, and these are on separate cooldowns, the 2 powers. You have to signal the survivor. They have to accept the signal, and then he gets control of the survivor, and he gets a speed boost upon initiating that control. Okay. Now, why might this power be frowned upon in pub lobbies and stuff? Well, obviously it's that like the Novelist is he's taking control of the survivor. So, like, it might subconsciously be saying, you're not good enough to play your character, let me play your character for you. And so, like, that's no reason, like, people might not use it in pub matches. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it might be a way to call your teammates bad, which they could be taking offense to. I could have used the power there, you know? I didn't want it to go down and keep it for later. But so there's that, and then there's just like, if you take control of them and then you die in 2 seconds, you look like an idiot for even bothering to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like when the other guy could have done a better Chase than you, playing the character that they play. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have to be proficient with like everybody on the roster if you're going to play Novelist, because you could be having to play every single character in the game potentially by taking control of them. But here's where I kind of counter that notion. That's all solo, low-level kind of game. If you are in a survive with friends, that speed boost is very, very tempting to actually utilize, because the speed boost is fucking insane. It's debatably too long. Like, so, like, let's just say, like, you're playing Novelist, your Perfumer player is being chased, and like, you don't want them to, like, take an early hit, because then they will, like, the Perfumer's out flanked, they need the pallet, but they don't have one. You don't want them to get hit, because then their power will be wasted. Their power won't be good, because they're injured. you as the Novelist player can take control of the Perfumer on their command when you're in queues and you're in comms. The Perfumer player can say Novelist and his speed boost. The Novelist player, they can take control of Perfumer, get the speed boost for them, and then the Perfumer player can cut the connection and resume the chase. Because the Survivor can cut your connection to them whenever they want. So, I've had games in solos where I've thrown out, because I always throw my power out just to, see who's gonna take it and who's not. Oh, here's a clutch play right here. I save, my girlfriend from getting picked up with my power. I'm sure, But, so the Perfumer can just say, Novelist, I need speed boost. And then the Novelist player does it, and then the Perfumer breaks connection, etc., etc. Because they don't have to let you control them. They can refuse it, as well as take it back whenever they want. So, there you go, dude. So when you're at, and obviously, and I think another application would be when the kite is happening, there's a 70-second kite, when the Perfumer's about to go down, they can say, Novelist, I need a speed boost, and then the Novelist player then can take control and then do the last hit themselves. Like if the Perfumer had a 70 hit, or again, the Perfumer, the Swift could just break the connection immediately. You know, it's whatever you want to do. It's just that speed boost is a very, very, very tempting thing because of how big it is. It is a very big speed boost, which again, you'll see it next game. And here's the next game right here, right on cue. So we went over the 1v1 power and how it is a kind of a B tier power, but it's still good enough to carry him. And what I think he's actually good for is shown in this game right here, the other two powers. Well, the other power and then the main application of the character. So I have already she's in my speed boost right now because Gracie don't like being chased. So I'm already flanked at the pallet. We got a lot of distance there with that speed boost. You probably couldn't even tell I was in it because I took control of her way earlier than I think is optimal. So we use the shock to get some distance because we're kiting as prisoner as Novelist, if that makes any sense. You can kind of see the words around her. I don't know if those are words like it is the killer, but that glow means I'm taking control. And I'm doing this because she does not like to be chased. So it's perfect synergy. I get to literally figure out how to optimize the speed boost. And for what I'm thinking is some high level application. Because I don't know if this is high level application. Just because after the speed boost, the player just might want to take the control right back, especially since if they're a pro and they've perfected their character. Yeah, this gauge is not very good. So I'm certainly not saying that Novelist is good because of these matches. This is all speculative stuff. Okay, so she's down, and that means the connection is broken. And I'm the closest one to her, so I have to go for the rescue. This is where I think the character thrives. I think he is very good at something that is actually very important in the meta right now, which is baton passing. Baton passing is simply the breaking of the tunnel. I think that's the term for it. Novelist is super good at baton passing because his power is super annoying for that. You have to be he has to be on the screen. You have to be staring at him, and see, Geisha should just fucking down me right there. And I get my power, which again she should have been the other way, obviously, but she should have been going the other way, and she shouldn't have flipped on for that. But after a successful use of the power of the Novelist, even in games where the killer is trying to tunnel, because they're obviously trying to tunnel because that's what the meta is. But you can successfully do a baton pass, and I even did one last game as well when the count, because I wanted to chase back. That wasn't as good as it could be, but the idea is you baton pass, get your power off twice when there's 3 ciphers left, and then all of a sudden the killer has 2 chairs and there's 1 cipher. That's kind of the idea behind him, and I think he's very, very effective in that role. I win more as him than I do as Mercenary, even in solo. I think he's very good at what he does, and if a Swift taps into his full potential and utilizes that speed boost effectively on weaker characters like Mechanic, there's a lot of things that he can actually do to successfully keep up with the meta of this game. That's why I'm always shocked to see him as low as he is. He's not like the worst character in the game. He's never in the bottom tiers. But like, I honestly think he's much better than people give him credit for. And this has happened before with the NAU server with Disciple, where they had Disciple in like bottom tier and she won KOA that year. Like she won a high level tournament. I'm not saying that Novelist is going to win high level tournaments, but I think he's gonna see more play than people give him credit for, because I think this character Survive with Friends application is just too fucking strong to not tap into. The free broken windows is like worth using. It's worth extending their kites. And his ability to baton pass sinks in the meta right now. Like if like a wildling is banned or something, like if they ban all these rescuer class characters, I think he does have a niche in the meta. Am I wrong? I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't play this game enough, so it's possible I'm wrong, and I'm not going to be offended if he doesn't see play KOA this year. But I mean, I just am shocked to see him B- C+. I think he's top of B at least. I think he's okay. I think he's much better than people are giving him credit for. I don't know if he took a nerf or something. I looked it up, and I couldn't see if he actually took a nerf. And I took control for anything to waste the killer's time, though, you know? Especially in these endgame situations. Punish that teleport better to help the other two get out. No, again, these two killer players, these two hunters, they weren't optimal fucking B4U players, obviously. They were both base skin. Like, they're not insanely good, and they weren't using the crouch counterplay, which is right before you release control of the Novelist, you crouch, so he has to stand up and take some time off and get some of that distance back. Nor was I using it. I'm working on it, but like, got some work to do there. So that's kind of what this video is, just summarizing those two things, what he does and why I think he's not, why I think in Survive with Friends, if you eliminate the trust factors and the kind of toxicity uses of him in solo pub matches, and think about him from a top level Survive with Friends standpoint, that speed boost and baton passing are both very, very tempting powers to utilize in high level matches. So, like, I don't know, even at high ranks, I feel like the players should be trying him more, but you know, I'm not there yet, so I'm not gonna criticize them for not using it. I'm just gonna say keep your options open, man. You know, especially when in tournaments when the top tiers start getting banned, you know, he might be a clever third round pick that you can squeeze some use out of when the killers start to lower their power levels. Like when the Bloody Queens and the Breaking Wheels and the Dream Witches start to get banned, like, there's a lot of things you could potentially do. I want to play him against Dream Witch because I want to see how he works. Like, do you just take control of a follower, or like, can you find the main body? If you could take control of the main body of Dream Witch, that'd be sick. But that's probably not. It's probably the followers. Oh well, I'm getting the hell out of here, lads. I hope you found this entertaining because I mean, I really, really love this character. I think he's underrated design. I think there's some like quote-unquote toxic aspects to him, but if you ignore those and look at him just from a design top-level standpoint, I think this character could be insane at the next KOA. I'm getting the hell out of here. GG's, boys.